Hello and welcome to lesson 4. My name's Alison and you'll know me as the online piano tutor. I'm giving you the very best in piano playing, hopefully. Just to recap, in lesson 3, you needed to have gotten your complete piano player, book 1, and what we did was just a few basic little bits of knowledge in here. We had a look at pages 14 and 15 where we just went through a few basics of music theory. This you really do need to know before we move on to the next part of today's lesson, which is actually playing stuff on the piano. So it's very exciting. Then what we did was we went to, sorry, just bear with me a second. We went to page 17 with a piece called I Know Where I'm Going. Now we didn't actually play this, but again, we just went through a few basics. So today, lesson 4, we are going to turn to page, bear with me a second. We're going to turn to page 26 and we're going to have a go at the first piece in the book called White Rose of Athens. Now again, feel free to have a look through the rest of this book. I mean, most of it I've already explained anyway, but again, it is a really good book and it's ideal for self-teaching. Also, by the way as well, you should still be practicing your scales. So let's get on and start playing. Okie dokie, so I'm on the White Rose of Athens here, which is page 26. Now, as you will see, I'll try and zoom in. What I have actually written in my copy is the piece that we have, I Know Where I'm Going, on page 17, where we wrote out the different types of notes. I've just copied that again here, just so that we can remind ourselves and we can remember what we're going to be counting. Okay, now at the front here again, we've got our 2 numbers. Top number is always the most important because it tells us how many beats in the bar. So, for example, this note here, which we can tell by looking up here, it's got a dot next to it, so 3 beats. So I know that's 3 beats. This little black one here, that's worth 1 beat. And then we've got a bar line, so 3 plus 1 is 4, and then we have a bar line. So that means we're allowed 4 beats in every single bar. Black note, which is worth 1, another 1, another 1, another 1, that's 4 altogether, and then we've got our bar line. Okay, so just having a quick look over here now, this is like a little mini kind of version of your piano or your keyboard or whatever it is that you're playing on. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be putting finger 1, which is our thumb, on middle C, finger 2 on D, 3 on E, 4 on F, and 5 on G. So it will look like this. Let me scroll down. Sorry about the shadows, guys. I've got the light on because it's quite dark today. So middle C, 2 on D, 3 on E, 4 on G, 5 on F. Okay, now if I want to play an F, which is this one here, I have to use the 4th finger. If I want to play a D, I've got to use the 2nd finger. I can't use any other fingers on any other notes or any other notes with any other fingers. It must be these ones. So basically, if you keep your thumb on middle C, then you really shouldn't go far wrong. Okay, the only other thing I need to mention now is what we have here, this line, which is called a tie. So you see I've just written there, it's called a tie. Now basically it says here, hold this note down for 4 beats. So, sorry, let me just steady the camera. Hold this note down for 4 beats. So this one here, looking up here, is a 4-beat note, okay? And then we have a bar line. We've got another note here, I have actually scribbled it out, which is still worth 4 beats. So basically what it means is that you play this one here, you count 4 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4. When you get to this one, you do not strike the note again on the piano, but you almost sort of pretend that you've kind of hit it, but carry on counting for a further 4 beats. So in total, you'll actually be playing this D for 8 beats. So when we get to actually playing it, I'll show you what I mean, and hopefully it will make sense when actually you start playing it. So it just means that this note of D here is tied to this D. You can only ever have a tie tied to 2 of the same notes. So you can't have a D tied to an F because you physically got to play an F. You can't tie a D to an F, it would just be impossible. But you can tie a D to a D as they've got here. So it would be like having a silent K in front of the word knight, as in King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. So this is, you're still going to play it, but you're not going to strike the note again. You're just going to carry on holding it from this one. So I'll show you. One other thing we've got here is the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, all the way along the music. It only counts up to 4 because at the front here, in what we call our time signature, it tells us that we're allowed 4 beats in every bar. So the count is underneath for you, especially in the first few pieces in the book anyway. What I'm going to get you to do, and what you really, really must do, and I get all my students to do this, is to count out loud and play at the same time. That might seem a little bit complicated and some of you might have difficulty with it, but honestly you'll soon get the hang of it. My students get the hang of it very, very quickly, and it really does help your rhythm later on down the line. So get it all done and out the way, do it properly now. Later on down the line you ain't going to have a problem. Okay, so it'd be better if actually you had your copy in front of you and followed, because I can't have the camera zooming in on two things at the same time. So what I'm going to do is play it for you so you can see it whilst you follow the music yourself. So basically I'm going to be saying this counting, and whatever is above each count is what I'm going to play. So I'm going to be playing on count 1. When I say 1, I'm going to be playing C. When I say 2, I'm going to carry on holding C, because remember this is a 3-beat note. When I say 3, I'll still be carrying on holding it from the first one. When I say 4, I'm going to play another C. Now this doesn't have a letter in front of it, but 1, we should know it's middle C anyway because it's got the line through it and it's in the same place. And 2, we can see it's the same as the one before it anyway. So eventually when you move on to book 2 or whatever book it is that you wanted to move on to next, perhaps, you won't have any letters you won't have any letters written on the notes. So it's just trying to help you just to kind of understand the notes. So in the next bar, when I say 1, I'm going to play another C. 2, I'm going to play another C. 3, I'm going to play a D, which will be with my second finger. 4, I'm going to play an E, and so on. So follow your music and I will show you, and I will count out loud at the same time. Again, sorry for the shadows, but I hope you can see. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Carry on holding 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to stop there. So that was just basically the first 2 lines that we went up to. The next 2 lines are almost an exact copy of the first 2 lines. You will notice that there are a couple of kind of numbers at the top here. They're not counts, they're just the odd finger numbers here and there. So 5 on G. If you look up here, 5 on G. It's just sort of to help you jog your memory. When we get to the end, I've written an off here. So if I were just to play the last line from here, so I'm going to be on a G. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Carry on holding 1, 2, 3, 4. Off. Now if you noticed, I came off when I said off. I didn't come off on beat 4 because if I did that there would be no sound on beat 4, which means that I actually would have only have held this second C for 3 beats. So I need to say 4 and then come off when I say off. So technically it's like coming off on beat 5 really, isn't it? Okay, that was White Rose of Athens, just with the right hand. Just be practicing that. What you want to try and do as well is keep your counting consistent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and so on and so on. Try not to kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Try not to kind of make it sort of jerky sounding, but try and keep your counting consistent. Good, we're going to move on to the next piece now next to it, Cant Buy Me Love, and this is going to be with the left hand, so I'll take us through that now. Okay, so we're on Cant Buy Me Love. Now this is basically exactly the same thing as the right hand, but we're just going to be doing it all with the left hand really. So the only difference is up here we're going to be putting our thumb on middle C, 2 on B, 3 on A, 4 on G and 5 on F. Now the left hand is always a little bit more complicated than the right hand, just because for most of us it's the weaker of the hands, and also everything's going to be counting backwards, which actually is really annoying. Even if you're an adult, it's quite annoying. But again, you'll soon get the hang of that without any problems. So we know it's our left hand because we've got this little bass clef. Just as we did with White Rose of Athens, we had our treble clef here, so we knew that was right hand, and they've written RH for right hand anyway. So count 1, there isn't going to be anything, but we are going to start coming in on count 2. So it's exactly the same process. I'm going to play the first 2 lines for you up to here just to give you an idea. The rest of it will be the same, and then hopefully that will be enough to get you off and going yourself. So I need to start with my thumb on middle C, and here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that is the first 2 lines. So if you turn the page to page 28, we've got another piece called Help. Now again, this is exactly the same piece as White Rose of Athens. Our hands are going to be starting in the same place from middle C onwards, and then we're just going to be following the counting and the notes. Again, if you had your book in front of you, I'll just perhaps play the first line of this time, so I need to find middle C. So I'm going to play and count at the same time. Nothing comes on beat 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That was just the first line of that. Now this is actually a 2-paged piece, so it is quite long. We know we've come to the end when we see what we call this double bar line here. So it's a very thick outer line followed by a thin line. That's called a double bar line. That basically means we have reached the end of the piece of music. Now just looking over here to the first page, there's just a normal bar there. So I know this piece isn't finished. So it'd be like reading a book. When you got to the end of the page, you'd then follow it up to the top and start again. And one more thing for this lesson, we're just going to have a look at Largo. Now this one here has a combination of right hand and left hand, and I can always tell because, I mean, it won't, if you started playing the right hand with the left hand and the other way around, it wouldn't make sense anyway because your fingers would be in quite a twist. But I've got a bass clef here and a bass clef, so these 2 lines are with the left hand. Next 2 lines with the right hand, so we have our 2 treble clefs, and the bottom 2 lines with our bass clef. So that means we have the bottom 2 lines with the left hand as well. Just looking up here as well, they have missed out a B on here. It's not for any particular reason other than the fact that the left hand does not use a B in this piece, so they didn't deem it necessary to put in a B there. But other than that, both thumbs of each hand are going to be sharing middle C, so we're still going to be using the same area of the piano as we have been. So if I just played a little bit for you, so again, have your copy in front of you, I'll play it for you. Just going to position my hand on middle C. I'm still going to count and play at the same time. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So sorry, I've just got to swap hands with the camera. This is the right hand part. You would obviously carry on straight away on this, but obviously I only have 2 hands and not a third one to hold the camera for me. But for the right hand, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that just takes us to here, and then you would obviously do the last 2 lines yourself. So just have a look at the next page here. So this just explains all about ties in this page here. So have a look at this yourself. We've got the different types of notes that we've written here. The black one's 1, these ones 2, with a dot 3, and with no stem 4. And they've actually got the names of the notes as well. I teach crotchet, minim, dotted minim, and semi-breve. The most important thing is that you know the number of the beat that it's worth. And then very quickly underneath this just further explains that tie that we did in White Rose of Athens.
Okay, so that's the end of lesson 4. Just get to grips with those 4 pieces for now. So you've got White Rose of Athens, Cant Buy Me Love, Help and Largo. Keep practicing those scales as well, very important. You know they are, as I keep going on about them. And then once you've got the hang of that, then join me on lesson 5 and we'll move on to the next stage.